What's good, sports fans? Are you ready to elevate your live entertainment experience? Well, let me introduce you to SeatGeek, an amazing platform that connects you to your favorite events while saving you money. With SeatGeek, you can easily find tickets for sports games, concerts, and so much more, all in one place. The interface is user-friendly, making it simple to browse and compare prices. And one of the best features is the interactive seating chart. You can see exactly where you'll be sitting and how much you'll be spending, ensuring you get the best value for your money. But here's the best part. Check this out. By using my promo code, ChalkItUpSports, you can enjoy a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. That's right, $20 off your first SeatGeek order. Imagine catching that thrilling game or concert without breaking the bank. It's a win-win situation. Plus, you'll be a part of a community of fans who eat, sleep, and breathe live events just as much as you do. So what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description to download the SeatGeek app today. And don't forget to use my promo code ChalkItUpSports for a one-time $20 discount on your first SeatGeek order. Get excited. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. This is your boy, Tone DeShields II. You guys are locked in on a very special dose of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Always grateful to be here in the presence of you beautiful people. I don't take it for granted. I don't take life for granted. I don't take opportunity for granted. And, before I get to the pleasantries, right? Before the show came on, I was watching Jamie Foxx's new special titled "What Had Happened Was ... Jamie Foxx, if you guys didn't already know Jamie Foxx, I'm sure you guys know this. He went through a health scare, a serious health battle, I think a couple years ago, a few years back, something like that. And he was fighting for his life. And in this special, he pretty much described that trauma, the trials, the tribulations he had to go through, the things he had to overcome, the things he was going through mentally, emotionally, and spiritually throughout that whole ordeal. And, I don't want to serious the show out, right? Especially early on, but I just kind of want to set the tone, right? He spoke on how no matter what he was experiencing, no matter what health battle he was dealing with, no matter what pain he was dealing with, he kept telling himself while he was in that rehab, if I can stay funny, I can stay alive. If I can stay funny, I can stay alive. And that statement really hit me because, nothing in this life is promised. We walk our day to day and we just assume things are supposed to just be. We assume things just are. We assume things will always be. And things can change on you very, very quickly, be it with your health, your circumstances, your finances, your family, your friends, your job. Trust me, I've experienced that. And I just want to say to you guys, I just want to say to you, if you are dealing with something, be it with your health, be it with your finances, be it with your career, be it with friends, family, a loved one, whatever it may be, fears, traumas, whatever it is, just know to always hold on to who you are, no matter what. No matter what's going on, hold on to who you are. If you're known for being the positive guy, if you can stay positive, you can stay alive. If you're known for being the life of the party, if I can entertain, I can stay alive. If you're known for always spreading, love, if I can spread love, I can stay alive, right? As it pertains to me, I love talking. I love talking sports with you guys. I love sharing my energy, right? I love sharing my passion. If I can stay passionate, I can stay alive. And when it comes to your Philadelphia Eagles, if they can stay locked in, if they can keep the main thing, despite trial, despite tribulation, despite setback, despite distraction, if they can keep the main thing, they can stay alive. There's so much football left to be played. So much football. The Philadelphia Eagles are 11-2. They played 13 games. They got 4 games left. They've made the playoffs. They can secure the NFC East, I believe, with a win this week. So much has happened in the past 24 to 48 hours. So much has transpired in Philadelphia over the airwaves, in the content space, social media. So much has happened. But regardless, it's important to take a step back and just say, you know what? Who are we really? Where are we really? The Philadelphia Eagles aren't a 6-6 team or a 6-7 team. They're not a team that's going to be picking in the top 10 of the draft. They're not a team that's trying to figure out, what their identity is or if they have a quarterback, right? They're not a team that's in rebuild mode. They're none of those things. They're a really, really good, a great football team, as a matter of fact, who's on a 9-game winning streak that's coming off of a rough win, an ugly win. There's no such thing as a bad win, but they're coming off of an ugly win. In the NFL, football, that is, people like to forget. People get so caught up in the glitz, the glam, the lights, the cameras, the fantasy football, the betting, right? The stats, the numbers, the analytics, the jerseys, social media. People get so caught up in the traffic. But people forget. Football is an ugly sport. It's an ugly game. It's a game that requires a ton of sacrifice. It's a game that requires more commitment than maybe some of us realize. If you've played the sport, then you know what I'm talking about. Even if you played in your backyard, even if you played Pop Warner or high school or college, whatever level you played in, full transparency, I didn't play football, in high school, but I loved playing it with my friends. We used to always get together in the hood. You know what I mean? We had teams. We was hitting like there, like we was hitting out there like we was in the NFL. We was trying to get it in. You would have thought we was going to the league. Football is such an ugly game. It's a game that demands so much from you. It's a game that brings people together. And the reason I'm speaking this way is because I want to recalibrate with you guys. We've pontificated over the past 24 hours about what we think this team should do and who's to blame for this and who's to blame for that. Nah. I'm past that. And we have a special guest coming on later on. I can't wait to talk to him about this because I consider him to be somebody that's plugged in, and I can't wait to pick his brain. He's someone who's never been on the channel before. He's someone who's doing big things in this content space, and I can't wait to bring him on. You guys have seen him before if you guys are truly, truly locked into Eagles media and Eagles, content creation, right, in that digital space. But, I just feel like we need a recalibration here. We need a recalibration. The Philadelphia Eagles are 11-2. 11-2. Like, just breathe on. Just take that in for a second. Take it in. They're 11-2. The number one run the number one run offense. The number one defense in the NFL. You have a top 10 quarterback. You have a top 3 receiver tandem. You have the best running back in the NFL. You have the best offensive line in the NFL. You have one of the winningest coaches in football right now, one of the winningest quarterbacks in football right now. You have a GM that cares about the product. You have a front office in Jeffrey Lurie ownership. You have a front office who cares about winning, that's going to do everything possible to make sure they have the tools to win. You got guys like Jeff Stoutland in the building, Christian Parker in the building, Joe Casper in the building, Jeremiah Washburn in the building, Clint Hurt in the building. You got people who love this game. You got people who dedicate their lives to this game. You got people who've dedicated everything to this product we have right now. So I refuse to allow everything that the Philadelphia Eagles have built through the offseason, through free agency, through the draft, through OTAs and mandatory minicamp and training camp in the preseason and the growing pains prior to the bye week and all the work they put into the bye week and this 9-game winning streak. I refuse to allow anybody or anything knock me off my square. I refuse to allow anybody to convince me otherwise, that the Philadelphia Eagles are not Super Bowl contenders. I do not care. Shit happens. It's life. The family feuds. It's life. It's a part of it. But the question is, how do you respond? How do you get through said turmoil? A.J. Brown, will you answer the call? Jalen Hurts, will you answer the call? BG, get healthy, my brother, because we're going to need you to answer the call. I love how Nick Sirianni handled his press conference today. Put the fires out. No need to dig too deep into it. Hey, I don't know what y'all talking about. I see these guys eat lunch together every day. I don't know what beef y'all talking about. Simple as that. Simple as that. Too much has been invested in this product. Too much for us to jump ship now. And for some of y'all who do got that semblance of doubt in your spirit, for those of you who are not all in on this thing, I'm not saying you can't offer critique of the team, because I criticize them every day. Well, I offer critique every day. Every day I'm on here, I'm offering some level of critique. I'm not saying this team is above criticism or critique. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts is above critique or criticism. I'm not saying any of those things. No one is above reproach. But sometimes you got to question certain people's angle. Sometimes you got to question, where is that coming from? Sometimes you got to question, who's the messenger? What's your motive? What did you mean by that? What's the undertone of what you're saying? Everybody doesn't mean well. Everybody doesn't have our best interests at heart. You got some fans who are fair weather. They only come out when they only come outside when things is bright and sunny. Who will they be when the thunderstorm hit? Who will they be when the flood hit? When the levees break? Who will they be when we get flanked by the enemy? We got a lot of Judas. We got a lot of Judas amongst us. A lot. We got a lot of Judas amongst us. I just want y'all to know that. And guess what? You may be sitting next to one. You may know one personally. Everybody don't have our best interests at heart. Everybody doesn't have this team's best interests at heart. They're fair weather. The slightest bit of turbulence, the slightest bit of a bumpy ride, they start bitching. They start trying to overanalyze people and say he's not a franchise quarterback. He's a cancer. He's a goof. We can't trust him. All I'm trying to get across to you guys is we are in a unique situation here. And the Philadelphia Eagles have an opportunity to do something not just great, but something special. And we've been to the dance before quite a few times. And we've taken home the prom queen once and only once. But I believe we can do it again. I believe we can do it again. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles have everything it takes to win another Super Bowl for the city of Philadelphia and Eagles fans everywhere. Not just in Philadelphia, but some of y'all hanging out in Delco. Some of y'all hanging out in Chester, Norristown, Jersey, Delaware County, the Tri-State, the West Coast, Atlanta, Vegas, Canada, Brazil, Australia, Africa. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles can do it again. They can do it again, but they need us to be lockstep on this journey with them. They need us to still believe in the product. Don't give up on me now. Don't punch your ticket now. Don't pull the parachute now. We can do this. They can do this. They can do this. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. This team done been through too much together. Way too much. We've seen collapses. This organization, us as fans, we've seen this team been through everything. We've traded franchise quarterbacks. We've failed and rebuilt again. We've lost players and rebuilt again. We've drafted terribly and then rebuilt and drafted well. We've seen a lot. And don't get me started on the OG Eagles fans. Those of you guys who had to live through the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. You know what I mean? You guys have seen it all. I want to honor those OG Eagles fans who've seen it all. You guys have seen it. I'll never forget the tears flowing down my father's face when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I'll never forget the tears that was flowing down my face when they won that Super Bowl. We can do it again. We can do it again. But if you off this train, if there's any doubt, if there's any hole in your blood, I don't want you near me. Because that kind of shit rubs off. That doubt, that fear, that rubs off. The Philadelphia Eagles know what they need to do. They know what they need to do. They know. They know what they need to do. And I'm looking through some of the comments, and I love what a lot of you guys are saying. I love what a lot of you guys are saying. Some of you guys feel me. Some of you guys don't think it's that serious. Well, if it wasn't that serious, why was the city ablaze yesterday? Why did we all react the way we reacted? if it wasn't that serious. Those are the people I'm talking about, y'all. You got to watch out for them. They're not in it like we're in it. They're fair weather. Let me tell you who I am before my guest comes on. My guest is going to be here in about 10 minutes. Let me tell you who I am. Let me remind you guys who I am. I'm the type of Eagles fan that I wake up with stomach aches on game day. I'm the type of Eagles fan that can't sit down until we score our first points. I'm the type of Eagles fan that you can't talk to while the game is on because I'm not the nicest person. I'm the type of Eagles fan that when they lose, my week is fucked up. Some people may say, Tone, get a life. You're a psychopath. There's nothing in this world that should make you feel that way, especially a sport or a football team. There's nothing in this world that should make you feel that way. But guess what it does? Because I'm invested in this. This is my lifeblood. This is my heritage. I grew up an Eagles fan. This is all I know. I breathe this. I live this. This is how I take care of my people. So to some of you, it may not be that serious. And that's okay. That's okay. You're not in it like I'm in it. You don't feel it how I feel it. You're not invested like some of us are invested. So again, if you don't understand what's at stake here, if you can't see the forest from the trees, if you can't get with the program, y'all know where the door is. Y'all know where the door is. Y'all know where the exit row is. Take your parachute with you. We ain't got time to deal with nobody who ain't trying to put it all on the table. I'm betting on green every single time. You feel what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. When, and I say when the Philadelphia Eagles win it all, oh, this is going to be a hell of a story. This is going to be a hell of a climax. This is where legends are born. This is how legacies are defined. Who will you be when it's time to show up when it matters most? Who will you be when all the chips are on the line? It's time to go out there and be great. It's time to go out there and be great. Opportunities like this don't come often. Rosters like this don't come often. It don't come often. So again, I'm not here to change lives. I'm not here to change minds. I just want y'all to know how I'm carrying it. And if you rocking, hey, we rolling. And if you not, hey, y'all know what Nino did to G Money? Y'all know what Nino did to G Money? It's just that simple. Sometimes you got to put them out of their misery. And it's straight like that. Let me get to your comments. I really do appreciate y'all for being here. Let me get to the super chats first. We have a special guest coming on in about 5 to 8 minutes, something like that. So let me get to y'all super chats. Let me get to the comments. We're gonna have some fun today, man. Again, I'm just in a really passionate place right now. I had to really sit with myself over these past 24 hours and really think about what's been going on. We did the link up earlier with Simone Staley and Laura Brunson. Shout out to my people. I love them so much. That was a hell of a show. You guys showed out for that. That was spectacular. Couldn't thank you guys any more for that. Make sure you guys continue to smash that like button. It goes a long way. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to the channel. It means a lot. I'm just in a really passionate place right now. And I was, and again, watching that Jamie Foxx special just kind of gave me a little bit of a reality check that nothing in this life is promised. Nothing is promised. Nothing is promised. So you got to take advantage of every opportunity you got. And it's going to be some people that count you out. It's going to be some people that say you can't do it. It's going to be some people praying on your downfall. It's going to be some people saying he deserved it. It's going to be some people saying that about you. You deserve what you're dealing with. But guess what? Tough times don't last. Tough people do. You see, I don't just talk football. I talk real life. That's what you get here at Chalk It Up Sports. We don't just talk football. We talk real life. I know some people look at football and say it's just a game. Well, guess what? Those are real people playing it. Real people taking those hits. Real people dedicating themselves to the playbook and to the preparation of their mind, body, and soul. These are real individuals. This ain't no video game. Shit get real out there in the field. Nothing in this life is promised, y'all. Whatever opportunity you got, you better seize it. I don't care what you're going through. Because nobody care what I'm going through. Every opportunity that come across my way, I better seize it. Every opportunity that come your way, you better seize it. Hey, Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Smitty, Saquon, that offensive line, the defense, Nick Sirianni. Y'all better seize the moment. Seize the moment. Because again, just because things got a little turbulent, just because the waters got a little rough, that don't mean you stop fighting for what's yours. For everything that you've invested in this roster, everything you've invested in the offseason, I'm not going to let some tiff between Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, and BG knock me off my square. I'm saying we winning it all. I'm calling it. I'm locking it in. Signed, sealed, delivered. It's ours. And I can't wait to talk to my guest about this because, you know, I'm so passionate about the Philadelphia Eagles. I've been rooting for them for a long time, all my life, born and raised in Philadelphia. You guys know me, I say it all the time. North Philadelphia, 23rd and Diamond. Temple was right down the block. All I know is Philly. And again, I can't wait to talk to my guest about this because, you know, there are a lot of people who have jumped ship. I know he's seen it. I know he can smell it. There are some people who's jumped ship. There's a lot of Judas amongst us, and that's okay. We're gonna get through this, but I want to give my man his proper flowers, a proper introduction here. Man, oh man, make sure you guys smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. This special guest of mine, he's a former on-air sports reporter for Fox 43. He was formerly a producer for NBC Sports Philly. Also, former on-field MC for the Philadelphia Soul. Remember the arena football team when that was popping? Oh, yeah. Remember that? You guys also heard him on 97.5 The Fanatic, and he's also hosted Birds Outsiders on NBC Sports Philly. This guy's been around, I'm telling you right now. And now, right now, today, you can catch him on one of the fastest growing sports platforms in the digital media space, in the Philadelphia sports market, PHLY, Philly, via the All City Network. He, along with his guys, E-Rock and Black Gritty, host the Cheap Seats Show. He is none other. Some of you guys know him as J.A. But when he gets in trouble, his wife says, Jason Ashworth.
Bro,
J.A., how you feeling, man?
I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing great. First and foremost, thank you for the time. Thank you for gracing the show, gracing the platform with your presence, my man. We've been trying to work this out for the past few days, and I'm just glad that we've been able to make it happen.
Yeah, no doubt. I got to say thank you for the intro. I was getting goosebumps just listening to you. For real, I might have to bring you around just before I go to play and let you introduce for me, man. I appreciate that. It was well said. I mean, you even brought back the Fox 43 days. That's a throwback. I don't know where the hell you grabbed that from, but that's a throwback. I appreciate
Of course,
that.
man. I do my research. I study people I'm interested in. And you know what how you caught my eye, my friend, and I'm a fan of the PHLY platform, what you guys are doing over there. I love you guys, Zach Berman, Black Gritty, E-Rock. He's one of the ultimate Eagles
No
fans.
doubt.
Bo Wolf. You guys
Yeah.
have Vinny Curry over there right now. You guys are doing amazing work, and I just want to give you guys your flowers for sure. But you stood out to me one day when you were talking about, you were pretty much breaking down the discourse around Jalen Hurts and his play, and how every time there's a narrative around him and this organization, this team, they check the box and they fix it. But for some reason, the goalpost continues to get moved. So let's just hop right into it, my friend.
Yeah,
When
no,
you when you look at this Eagles team right now, right? Why do you think the narratives that circulate this team are what they are?
why the narratives are what they are. Well, you know what? First of all, I think if I knew that answer, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd probably be working for the Eagles or in some illustrious position. I don't know why they are what they are. That's what's so frustrating. When I first hopped on, you were talking about how passionate you were, and that I mean, you're born and bred, and like this runs through your veins. And I'm the same way. I'm not born and bred, but it runs through my veins. I'm passionate about it. I care about it. And one of the most frustrating things is I can't put my finger on it. Like why those goalposts move, why the narratives change, like, and it's not unique to 2024,
Mm.
right? If you go to the Wayback Machine, I mean, every year for the Eagles, there seems to be some narrative around this team. I think part of that might be the answer right there. To be honest, part of it is we've been through it, we've lived through it, we've seen it. These little wrinkles that sometimes we'll see during the course of the season maybe bring up some bad memories. Remember, we've only got to celebrate one Super Bowl now,
Mm.
right? And even in the early 2000s, when we thought we had a squad, always found a way to come up short. So I think from that perspective, it's probably just some PTSD that at least, and I'm talking about specifically not necessarily the national narratives or the national media, but probably, within our own fan base, within our own city. It's probably a little case of the PTSD because we want to get excited, we want to get invested, we want to buy in. But then there's certain people within the fan base that they can't let the past be the past, and they always use it as an indicator of the future, which has merit in certain situations, but it also prevents them from enjoying something special, which I think actually is happening right now. I think this team is different, but unless it's clicking on all cylinders at all times, every game, every situation, they use that, as you mentioned, as a course to jump ship.
Yeah, it's interesting because for as long as I can remember, following the Philadelphia Eagles, full transparency, I was born in '94. I'll be 30 this year,
Oh, young buck.
and it's for as long as I can remember. The earliest football memories I have of the Philadelphia Eagles is the Donovan McNabb, era,
Yeah.
and things of that nature. That's my time, and this team has always put winning at the forefront. Always, no matter what the end result is, I could always say without a shadow of a doubt, the Philadelphia Eagles have always invested in winning. There's so many organizations out there who clearly simply just care about being slightly relevant, being a 500 record, because at the end of the day, these owners know their check is going to clear at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? So when I think about the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, he's not satisfied. He's not satisfied with just being a venture capitalist or just being an owner. He cares about this product. Howie Roseman, they care about this product, right? And they've regularly tried to put the best people in position to do great things, right? And now you have, Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, they are the new era, the new regime, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, so on and so forth, right? But the sprinkle of the past, Lane Johnson, BG got hurt. But I look at this team and I say to myself, I look at this coaching staff, I look at everybody and I say to myself, they have everything they could possibly need to win it all. Right? If there's any reason they don't, what do you think that reason will be?
Well, and then this may be why we're sitting here, having the conversation we're having, because what many people would be with, look, let's just call it what it is. Right now, the discourse in Philadelphia is they're going to say if they don't win a Super Bowl or the piece that they're missing is they're going to say the quarterback. And that's not saying I agree with it. That's not saying you agree with it, but they're going to sit here and say, okay, look, let's look at this team. They play good defense. We know that. Right? They're a top 5 defense in the NFL. They can run the hell out of the ball. We know that. And Saquon Barkley's on pace to break some NFL records. They know we've got a line. We're strong in the trenches on both sides of the football. Their secondary, the problems they had last year are fixed. They've got some of the best wideouts in the game, some of the best overall weapons in football. So you would look at it, and what a lot of people are pinpointing now is, should you get into a shootout, Or should you need to win on the arm of Jalen Hurts, how quickly we forget that we were able to do that in years past, how quickly we forget that he outshined Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. People are scared, and they're saying Jalen Hurts is the problem, that Jalen Hurts needs to play better. And I think that's true. I'm not saying he's a problem. Jalen Hurts needs to play better, and that's okay. We could admit to say, look, there's certain times where we need our quarterback to play a little better. I don't think that makes him a weak link. I don't think that he's the reason that that people can't have Super Bowl aspirations. I don't think it's a reason to jump off ship. But I think that the main theme in Philadelphia right now, when you look at this team sitting at 11-2, probably just behind the Lions in the NFC, but I would probably go Lions, Eagles in terms of NFL. But you could probably say right now the one thing that's giving people pause is the quarterback play.
And speaking of the quarterback play, let's get into that Panthers game, because although Jalen Hurts didn't turn the ball over, he put up 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 running, made some key third down conversions, with his legs, in the air, so on and so forth. I think despite the efficiency, there felt like there was something off in his processing or what he was seeing. He just didn't look settled in that game for some odd reason.
Sure.
For some people, this may be blasphemous to say, but for me, based off what I saw, that looked like one of his worst performances this season. Take me through what you saw in that game from Jalen Hurts.
So here's the rub, too. I was at the game.
Okay.
And when you're at the game, you get to see certain things, but you also lose a lot of perspective, too. I'm a guy, I like to sit in my basement, leave me alone. I lock in. I don't want to talk to anybody, right? Because I can't, right? I don't like going. I wound up getting dragged to the game for one reason or another, so you miss a little bit. But I think you're right. I think he missed some reads. He missed some throws. I'm sure he would love to have some of those back. But then by the same token, I would tell you that if that was his worst game, and they went 5 for 5 in the red zone, where he threw 2 touchdown passes in the red zone, rushed for another one, had a QBR of 111, didn't turn the ball over, and they won, then I would say, okay, this is kind of like the dichotomy of the conversation we're having. Yes, he didn't play a good game, but he was flawless in the red zone, did his job, and managed the team to a win against a Carolina team that, despite what everybody wants to say about their record, is playing some really good football over the last month. They were 2-2 heading into it. If you'll remember, they just took Kansas City down to the final seconds, where Kansas City needed a last-second field goal to win the football game. It's sandwiched between, coming off beating Washington, beating the Rams, beating Baltimore. Then you have Carolina, followed by Pittsburgh. So it's a game where I don't like calling it a trap game. I really don't.
Right.
But a lot of people behind the scenes say, well, that's blow them out. That's not how the NFL works. Right, you don't just blow all the teams out, especially when you have Bryce Young, who was showing people why he was the first overall pick, and a team by and large is playing much better football. Has to play better. If this offense is going to be as dynamic as we know that they can be, and if they're going to exploit matchups in the secondary with the passing game, Jalen has to play better. I completely agree. But I revert back to my point to say, if this is the worst that Jalen Hurts is going to be, and they walk out of it with a W where he was still, I get it, 108 yards isn't great. Let's call it what it is. But when trailing, he was flawless. And the Eagles were trailing 3 times in that game, and every time he marched them right down the field and got them in the end zone to retake the lead. So I'm just saying it can be we can call out the QB and say that he needs to play a little better without acting like he's some trash QB, because we know he's not.
Exactly. And you brought up the fact that this Panthers team has been playing very well. A lot of people do not want to give them real credit for it because of their record and because of what the analytics and what the stats say. But that team has found some level of pride at this point in the season, be it if guys are playing for incentives, be it if guys are trying to play for a job next season, or guys are trying to prove their worth, or whatever it may be. That Panthers team is playing significantly better than what their record says. And I'm always of the mindset to give credit where credit is due. Those guys get paid too as well. Multi-million-dollar guys out there, they got some level of pride. And then you also said that, hey, yeah, the game went how it went, but hey, they did just beat the Ravens, a team that everybody had them losing. 2. They did beat the Washington Commanders that a lot of people felt like, hey, Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback in the NFC East. The Washington Commanders are coming. They're going to win the division. He did beat the Los Angeles Rams, an offense that everyone kept saying that their pass concepts, their alignments and their formations are going to be a real problem for this Eagles secondary, these young secondary, so on and so forth. I mean, they've slayed so many dragons throughout this season, and yet we still landed where we landed after this game through the win. I think that's what blows my mind the most.
Yeah, and I get it. I mean, that's not that I agree, but I get it when you play a team like Carolina, especially coming off a performance where you kind of boat racing, but you really gave it to the Rams, and that was a big game for us. Where we say, hey, going out the West Coast, let's see what happens when they fly home. Let's see how we feel, where we stand. Well, we felt pretty good when they were flying home. And then you had the big Baltimore test where a lot of people had that circled on the calendar and said, okay, if there's going to be an L, that's it. Wasn't an L. And in fact, they did their work. So I think the excitement started to heighten, right? You start saying, wait a minute, this is Super Bowl caliber. I believe, and I'm one of them. I said heading into the Baltimore game, like, if you think I'm excited now, if you think I believe now, go ahead and beat Baltimore. I promise you, go ahead and beat Baltimore, and I'm in with 2 feet, right? Like no doubt about it. And they did that. So I think the natural repercussion to that is when you have a team like Carolina and what you could view as a trap game or whatever you want to call it, you expect to beat the brakes off of them. But as you mentioned, like there's 53 guys on the other side getting paychecks. They're professional athletes, really good professional athletes that have turned a corner this season or are playing some really good ball. So it's frustrating. I get it. But again, I'll harken back to say the Kansas City Chiefs, who are 11-1, needed a last-second field goal to beat that team. I don't know about you. I just got done talking about the Detroit Lions are the best team in football, I think. I don't know if you saw it, but I saw them skate on Thanksgiving to the lowly Chicago Bears, who have lost like 8 straight games. And it only took the firing of Matt Eberflus. Like, that's how bad it was. They gave that game, like, Chicago had that dub, and they had to give it away and then fired their coach because of it. So it's not like these teams are just like teams can be beat at any moment. And the best team in football almost lost to the Bears. Now, they didn't. They didn't, and I get that, but neither did the Birds. And they didn't squeak by 2. They won by 6. It's all good. I just think the panic level needs to level down a little bit.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Now let's get to the drama that is brewing that was brewing, right? Past tense, present tense, whatever, right? Let's get into that. I kind of wanted to set the table a little bit. And AJ Brown, after that Panthers game, obviously the game didn't go according to plan for him. And we spoke about how Jalen Hurts did miss some reads, did miss some wide open guys, in particular AJ Brown in a couple situations. Some people have broken down the film in their own ways, and they've justified one side of the argument. They've justified another side of the argument, whatever it may be. But the reality is he didn't throw the ball to him that much, right? And in the postgame, AJ Brown spoke, and they asked him simply, and I'm paraphrasing, what do you think needs to get better for this team to get to the next level? What do you think needs to improve? He gave them a one-word answer, quote, passing. Now, I'm no idiot, but when you say passing, there's only but so many people you could be talking about. So when you heard A.J. Brown speak on the situation from his perspective in that moment, and I'm sure you heard the entire interview, but when you heard him say that and you couple that with everything else he said in the press conference, how did you feel when you heard that? What was your thought process?
Immediate was, all right, I probably would. And I get it, right? Say less, right? If you're frustrated, say less. Right? It's okay. But then the other side of me, honestly, was, he's not wrong. Like, we all know it. Like, the passing game needs to get better. If he, especially with a top wide receiver duo that the Eagles have. Like, again, if they're going to be as explosive and dangerous as we think that they can be, and they've shown that they can be, then yeah, guess what? You got to get AJ and Devontae involved in the passing game, and then obviously we know what that does for the rest of the offense. So ultimately, I thought he's not wrong. I personally, just coming from my perspective, I didn't have as much of an issue with it initially, and I was one to downplay it because, look, just because you say, you being A.J. Brown, you say passing's an issue, right? Well, okay, it is. If you've played a competitive sport at any significant level, like, it's okay. Guys are going to get frustrated, and guys are going to say, hey, we need to do this, we need to do that. That doesn't mean they're beefing. It doesn't mean like the sky is falling and it's this massive issue. Like he thinks past it needs to get better, and we all know it. So to act like they don't know it and they can't say it or it's some big problem, to me, my initial reaction was, yeah, I don't really like it, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. That was my initial reaction.
Yeah, and it's funny. I'm pretty much in lockstep with you. Right? When I heard it, I was like, all right. I mean, he's not technically wrong. Like this passing game does need to improve. And my whole perspective is, I stand by the way I'm about to break this down here. This is kind of what I've been saying all week, over the past couple of days. It's not what he said that I think most people have a problem with, or at least me, right? I don't think it's what he said.
Yeah.
I think it's where he said it, when he said it, and who he said it to. I was raised that, hey, Tone, it's not what you said, man. It's how you said it. It's not what you said. It's where you said it. It's a time and a place for everything. It's not what you said. It's when you said it. It's not what you said, man, but it's who you said it to. Why'd you tell them that? So again, right, it's what he's selling after watching that game. But then when you say it in front of the reporters and, obviously he was frustrated. We know how the game went. And then you couple that with what BG said on WIP, and I'm sure he was taken out of context. I want to try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I did not like what BG said at all. And again, another situation of why are you saying it? Where are you saying it? What you're saying? It's such a tricky situation, that BG thing. And again, just to offer him some bail, I think what he was really discussing or really trying to get across is that, hey, before they were teammates, they were friends. And that was their dynamic. And the expectations are different when you're just friends. You don't work together. But when friends work together, when friends get in business together, now it's a different dynamic. And now the expectations change. So give me your perspective on that situation.
All right. So let me walk you through this real quick, too. So when I first heard that, my immediate thought was I was disappointed in BG. My initial thought was I'm disappointed because you're basically saying, and this is, I'm taking all this, in the moment, initial reactions, just kind of giving you legit what was running through my head. You're telling a guy, hey, when you've got an issue, go to the man, go to the person, don't go to the media. But BG, you're going to the media to tell another guy not to go to the media. So to me, it was very hypocritical. BG is way too savvy. He's way too smart. He's been around the league way too long to let something so simple slip like that. So something just kind of felt off to me, right? And it wasn't that he was talking to the media. I know that's a show that he does. Like, I get all that, and he makes those appearances every Monday on the station. But God's honest too. You put out on social media, it was one of your boys that said, "Hey, I was thinking of this," and it kind of flipped the way I thought about it. When I heard you explain that, and you just explained it again, I went, you know what? That's exactly what it is. And maybe that's me convincing myself that's what it is because I want to convince myself, but it makes sense. If I'm your boy, before we worked together, and BG said, hey, they were friends before. He wasn't saying before that game. He was just saying they were friends before they were teammates, and they were. But like you said, when you get into business together or you become teammates or whatever that may be, it becomes about the business too, not just the personal. We're not just friends. I get we are friends, but it ain't just about that. It's about the business too. And that's a tricky balance. Anybody who's worked with a friend or anybody who's been on the same team with a friend and not drama, but things happen.
Yeah.
Right. You have to deal with that business first, personal aside. And they always say, like, it ain't personal, it's business. And that's where they're at right now. So I think that the way that you guys laid that out in context to BG's comments really resonated with me. It made a lot of sense with me. And if we know BG, I said he's savvy and he's smart, he's been around the block. I think it lays some credence or some credibility to the idea that that's what he was implying, not anything else.
Yeah, and then BG followed it up, trying to clean it up. Of course, the same evening, the same night, he got in touch with Tim McManus at ESPN and did his best form of damage control. But in a situation like that, you kind of let the genie out of the bottle, and now I'm watching, and I don't really get too deep into the national media landscape, but there are certain shows I do watch because they got certain people on there that I do like. But I'm watching these shows today to just check the temperature a little bit, and I'm just seeing how they've been given so much fuel to their machine because of self-inflicted wounds. And it's kind of been the narrative for the Philadelphia Eagles, even throughout the season, even through the winning, right? You watch some of the games and you say, we're hurting ourselves in that situation. We're hurting ourselves there. We're hurting ourselves there. I look at this team from top to bottom. I say to myself, they can't be beat if they don't beat themselves, right? On and off the field. And as of right now, they're in a situation where it can make or break their season, right? The BG situation, obviously BG's not playing, but BG said he's going to speak to both of those men face to face and let them know how apologetic he is. And I know BG is going to do that. I met BG in person. He's a real dude. That's a man right there. So I fully expect him to do his part in that situation and try to clean that up with his boys. And then Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, that dynamic, they go back way too far in my opinion. And I just think that, like BG said, like when the bullets start flying, things get people get tight a little bit. Guys get a little heated, and then you sprinkle in the Saquon Barkley element, right? Saquon Barkley is having a generational season right now. He's had the best season as a running back for the Philadelphia Eagles that we've ever seen. It's statistically that's been the case, and visually you can just see that. I mean, he's a human knockout punch. I mean, I'm talking Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder level. I mean, he's that good. He's taking the Eagles to another level. But also having him there has influenced the way the game has been played. And you factor in the fact that A.J. Brown has missed games, Devontae Smith missed games, Dallas Goedert. They've had to build their identity around stability. And the person who's been the most consistent, the most stable, the most available has been Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, no, I mean, he has been, for lack of a better term, the driving force on offense, the consistent threat on offense. And we said it heading into the bye week. I mean, I said this earlier today. Like Saquon or Jalen Hurts was throwing the ball 30+ times the first 4 games, and it was 2-2, and we didn't have an identity. We didn't know where this team was headed. They went into the bye week. They regrouped. Obviously, the offensive line went and talked to Sirianni and said we need to run the damn ball. Well, go figure. They've been running the football, and they ripped off 9 straight wins, and Jalen Hurts has only turned the ball over 1 time in that 9-game winning streak. So he has been the difference maker for that offense. I think the AJ aspect to it, again, if they want to be as explosive and dynamic and dangerous and a threat to everybody in the NFL, well, then they got to be clicking on all cylinders on offense because, I mean, that's where you're truly a difference maker, right? Where you can go ahead and open up the field and be a threat downfield with both Devontae and AJ Brown, and then hey, go ahead, Saquon, pound it between the tackles. And the minute they bring up 7, 8 in the box, well, go ahead, I'm going to get one-on-one matchups and I'm going to pin you that way. So I think there's merit to the idea that the passing game needs to improve. And again, like I get the frustration. I understand the frustration with AJ Brown. I don't think I really don't think it's a beef. I got buddies, and it's not necessarily the way I communicate personally, but I know buddies that have been best friends for years. The way they talk to each other, oh my goodness, you would think that they can never come back to it. But that's just love. Like that's just them. That's just how they communicate. There. Yeah, like no doubt. Like that's just how they communicate. So to act like AJ Brown can't simply say passing, like dude needs to be better. Like to blow that out of the water out of proportion and act like, oh, there's no coming back from this. Like to me, again, that's just hyperbole. I don't think there's much to it. I don't want the distraction, Tone. To be honest with you, you're right. The only thing I think that could take down the Birds right now are themselves. So I don't want to go into a big matchup with Pittsburgh and then worrying about answering all these questions about relationships, going into the game feeling like they need to force feed A.J. Brown to keep certain people happy. I want them to go and execute the game plan and just win, like get the W, however you need to get that. And I think this puts them in a position to try to have to answer questions that otherwise don't need to be answered.
Yeah. You bring up Pittsburgh. Like that's going to be one of those games, and they're a very, very formidable opponent, offensively and defensively. Russell Wilson has taken their offense to another level. But when you think about that game and that matchup, you say to yourself, one or two things are going to happen: either the Eagles are going to ball out, or they're going to flame out. Simple as that. And that sounds scary. That sounds terrifying when you say it like that. But I think just knowing what's been going on this week, I fully expect these guys to hold each other accountable. And just jumping back to the AJ Brown part of it, like, yeah, he said what he said in front of the media, and maybe he shouldn't have said that, right? But I don't think AJ Brown says anything that he knows Jalen Hurts can't handle, or maybe he hasn't already said to him already. I feel like despite this boiling over, because the media's been low-key baiting AJ for several weeks about these targets. And I don't think his issue has ever really been the targets. I think it's strictly been the flow of the offense. Everyone's been frustrated with the first quarter lackluster play and the slow starts. Everyone's been frustrated with that. So, unfortunately, he finally took the bait. He finally ate the cheese. When you're coming off of a pretty rough win. But I do want to dive a little bit deeper into the Saquon conversation. Just trying to shift. Trying to turn the page from the drama a little bit. Saquon Barkley. I mean, when we signed him, and full transparency, it's not that I wasn't on board with the signing. He's going to help the Eagles. I knew he would help us. But when I thought about where the team was at that time, I said to myself, okay, we got a lot of holes on defense. We got to spend some money there too. So not that I wasn't on board with the signing, but I just felt like, is that where we should be spending our money? Right? But when you see it in action and you see what he's been able to do with this offensive line, with Jalen Hurts at quarterback and A.J. Brown and Smitty and Goddard in the build, I mean, Saquon Barkley has exceeded, I think, anybody's expectations. Just break down what's been your perspective, your feelings about Saquon Barkley and his impact on this team right now. So
I'm biased, right? Long time ago, I graduated from Penn State.
My wife graduated from Penn State.
All right, good. We are. So long time ago, I graduated there, and I've always been a Saquon Barkley fan. When you saw him in college and you just looked at that dude and said, he's built different. Like, that he's playing on Sundays. I'm telling you right now, that guy's playing on Sundays. And sure enough, he gets drafted second overall, and my immediate feeling was anywhere but New York. Like, come on, bro, I can't, right? So, but I followed his career, and purely selfishly, when I found out, the Birds had a shot to go get him, I was giddy because he's a personal favorite of mine, right? Like, I love watching that guy play on Sundays. So was the money a lot? I mean, for a running back, sure, you could say that. But when you look at him as a playmaker, and what he's doing for this offense just as a playmaker, I mean, that money's well worth it. I mean, just look at what the running backs have done for certain teams. Look what King Henry's done for Baltimore. Look what Josh Jacobs has done for the Packers. Look what Saquon Barkley has done for the Eagles. So I know we always say running backs are a dime a dozen, but when you can get one of the good ones, one of the difference makers, I mean, you're going to pay him, and it's going to pay off. He's fun to watch. He's explosive. He provides a different element than I think we've ever seen in Philadelphia. I mean, you go back to Shady, obviously, right, in terms of just his ability, his shiftiness. But Saquon will run you over too. Make no bones about it. He'll lower the shoulder and make sure you know that you're hitting him. And I love it behind this offensive line. It's just an attitude. He's a phenomenal human being. He's a phenomenal leader. He blends in well with the team. So selfishly, I love that Jeffrey and Howie were willing to pay it. Now, it helps when you can hit on Quinyon and Coop, because you mentioned the defense, when you can go, 1 to, and even get Jalix in the third round. So it helps when you can nail your draft, which the Eagles have done over the last 3 years, to allow you to kind of splurge in certain spots and go get difference makers like a Saquon Barkley. They have, so they did. It's paying off and it's fun.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the money part of it, right? And obviously I kind of knocked down that first domino, right? Bringing up, the money that was spent on him. He's making about $12 to $13 million a year, I believe, with the Philadelphia Eagles. But when you think about what they're getting for their money, and then you compare that to some of the wide receiver contracts, right? Stephon Diggs making $22.5 million, or a Mike Evans making $20 million. A Calvin Ridley, right?
A big deal. Like, what are you getting out of Calvin Ridley?
Right. Christian Kirk, right? $18 million. Deontay Johnson, right? 18.3. Brandon Cooks, right, 19.8. So when you think about it from the economics perspective and just base it off of, okay, what does this player give me versus what I'm spending for him? How dynamic can he be? Oh, when you put it that way, when you look at Saquon as a weapon and not a running back, oh my God, he's vastly underpaid. Vastly. And thank God the running back market is what it is. Thank God it is what it is.
Look, and Tone, I'll tell you this too, because earlier we were giving props to Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. I mean, obviously Howie is a wizard with the cap, right? And he's going to find ways to. I mean, people call it punt the can down the road, or kick the can down the road. If they didn't have an owner in Jeffrey Lurie that was willing to pay guys money up front, right, and structure contracts in a way where they're going to get some incentive up front and get a big chunk of that money up front, whether it be a signing bonus or whatever it is, Howie wouldn't be able to do what he does, and they wouldn't be able to build the team the way that they do. So it's not just, the players they have and executing on the field, and it's not just Howie building, putting the best 53 together, but it's also the owner who's writing some fat checks to make sure that everybody's happy, everybody's fed, everybody has their bread. And when you do that, in theory, everybody can worry about football, and not that paycheck.
Jay, man, I'm really grateful that you give me the time you give me. If I could just sneak a couple more from you, my man.
Yeah.
You brought up the rookies, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Speak on just how they've exceeded our expectations as well, right? I mean, when you bring in rookie DBs, you expect some sort of growing pains, right? And when you also factor in the schools they went to, a lot of people had doubts about a kid out of Toledo, right? A white corner out of Iowa. Let's be honest about it, right? A lot of people had their doubts about it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's be totally honest. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean have arguably been two of the best defensive players on this team. So just give me your perspective on how these young players, like a Quinyon Mitchell and a Cooper DeJean, have been able to make an impact so soon. And you could even take it a step further and think about the second-year guys, the third-year guys, and Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, guys like that.
Yeah, and again, you go back and you look at the last three drafts, and it's no surprise why the Eagles are in the situation or the position that they're in, where they're competitive, and they've got 3 straight years where they're ripping off, 10-2, 11-1 starts, whatever that may be, because they're drafting well. And we always say you have to draft well if you're going to sustain success in the NFL, and Howie's done that. For years, the funny part about this whole thing is for years we clamored, look, get in the SEC. Please, I just want you to target the SEC. And they go out and they get Devontae Smith. They bring in a Landon Dickerson. They got obviously all the Georgia Bulldogs. And they really they nail the SEC, right? And it works. And then this year they're sitting there and I go, well, I got this kid from Toledo. And we're like, all right, but you got that kid Arnold from Bama sitting right there. Now, I like Quinyon, but I'm just saying there were other bigger schools, right, bigger names. And
Kool-Aid McKinstry out of
right?
Alabama as well, right?
Bama again, yeah. Like you had big-time SEC players right there, and the way the draft shook out with all the offensive players going, Quinyon was sitting right there. Did I think Quinyon was going to be this impactful this quickly? I didn't. I thought he was a good corner. I liked what I knew of him, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I watched a lot of Toledo games. Of course I didn't. But I knew there's certain opinions, this, right? There's certain opinions you trust in the league. If that guy says it, all right, I'm going to listen to him. If this guy says it, I'm probably not going to pay attention to you. And enough people who have opinions that I trust said really high things about Quinyon Mitchell, enough for me to go pay attention, right? I didn't think he'd be as impactful this quickly. I'll double down and tell you, because you said it, a white corner from Iowa. Yeah, sorry. Look. And then I'm not telling you he couldn't be impactful. I'm just
jumps out the gym, by the way. Jumps out the gym too.
No doubt, right? He's a hooper. Kid's a hooper.
Exactly.
So I think when I saw that they were taking a chance on him, I liked it just from an overall value perspective. You're getting a first round grade on a kid, falls to 40 in the second round. You're going to go ahead and obviously pull the trigger on him, and they were immensely excited to get him. But to say that, and I'll tell you why it's funny. You know how you do during the rookie camps or whatever, and they go up and they grab the mic, they got to sing songs, they got to basically embarrass themselves and ingratiate themselves to the team, right?
Yeah.
And I think he was singing Lose Yourself by Eminem, and he bombed it. He totally just bombed it. And I was like, see, like he ain't got it. He ain't like that's not going to work in the locker room. Like he's too white. And like sure enough, bro, because you know what I mean, right? Like, if you're gonna be a corner, you gotta have a little swag.
I think he's too like he's too cool. Like it's like he's such a laid back dude.
He's
like,
man. Yeah, but I thought, man, my man has no swag. It's not what we want it to be. Again, another kid that just, off the rip, proved me wrong. Not only does he have swag, he has skill. He's got a little pop. He knows how to play the game. He's incredibly heady, it's fun to see because coming off, we talk about the bye week. When they got him healthy, when they got him into the slot, that defense, like a light switch, just turned, and they started balling out. So, obviously there's some other players on the side of the ball, Zach Bond being one of them, that have a lot to say about that. But just the collective, right, beast, absolute monster. And when you can get in Vic's defense, when you can get them controlling the middle of the field and linebackers out in coverage and Coop man in the slot, and you've got a lockdown guy outside, and they're actually getting pressure on the quarterback now. And you got CJGJ now starting to make an impact, whether it be with the sticks or whether coming up with a turnover. You can see all these parts and pieces start to come together, and they have been for weeks. And again, I'll just keep alluding back to this. It's fun to watch. All phases of the ball right now, minus the first quarter, maybe not the passing game. The rest is just really fun to watch.
Jason, once again, thank you so much for making yourself available to me. Thank you for your time, my friend.
No doubt.
I love what you guys are doing over there at PHLY. Please promote the show. Tell the people how they can find it. Just let people know what you guys are working on and what you guys are cooking up over there.
Yeah, it's a blast. I'm enjoying my time with E-Rock and Black Gritty. You can catch us Wednesday nights on the PHLY network. You can catch us at PHLYcheapseats.com. You can find all the links to all of our shows, all of our socials. We're having fun, bro. It's pushing on YouTube TV. They're actually running it out on a channel on Xfinity now, so every now and again I can pop on the TV and catch a drift of the show. It's a good time. Anytime somebody wants to put a mic in front of my face and say, hey, you know what, you get to go talk birds. Now, you may not listen, but if you're going to give me a chance to chop it up, I'm going to take that. And we're having fun doing it, man.
J.A., once again, thank you for the time. Thank you for gracing the platform with your presence, and hopefully you feel like you found a home here. I would love to definitely continue to bring you on, in the future, and just pick your brain about these Philadelphia Eagles. We have a lot of football left to go, and I believe there's some great things on the horizon despite the turbulence. But Jason, like I said, man, thank you, and you take care, brother.
No doubt, Tone. I appreciate you, brother. Anytime.
For sure. Talk soon.
No doubt.
Shout out to Jason Ashworth, man, also known as J.A. That was fly, man. That was dope. Really appreciate him for taking the time. Really appreciate him for just locking in with me. Like I said, we was working on trying to get this thing together for a few days now. And I hit him up. I hit him up on the socials, and I said, "Listen, man, I love this perspective. I would love to just bring you on and just talk shop, man. Talk football." And he was like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And we was corresponding, and it was just dope. So I'm really grateful for Jason for locking in with me. And if you guys enjoyed it, I know you guys enjoyed it because you guys are really active in that live chat. He's definitely going to come on this show again, especially in the future. And again, we have a lot of football left. You guys, and I want you guys to just relax. Some of you guys are very on edge right now. Some of you guys are looking at it like the sky is falling. They're 11-2. You have a top 10 quarterback in Jalen Hurts. You have the best running back in the NFL. You have the best offensive line in football. You have a top 3 wide receiver tandem. You have a top 10 tight end. You have the best defense in the NFL. You have one of the winningest coaches in football who have beaten some of the better coaches in hardball, right? He's beaten Sean McVay twice. He's beaten Matt LaFleur twice. This guy has a resume, right? Say what you want about him. He can be a little kooky. He can be a little goofy, but guess what? He wins football games, and his team galvanizes around him. You have a solid coaching staff in Kellen Moore and Vic Fangio, who has developed talent in this organization, right? Vic Fangio's fingerprints are all over that defense, right? We need to woo-saw and understand that throughout a football season, there are going to be moments where things go up, things go down, but what you got to do is ride the wave, and just breathe easy, you guys. So again, thank you to my man, Jason Ashworth. That was a fun conversation. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports. And that's pretty much our show, you guys. Thank you, and thank you, man. Means a lot. You guys know where to find the content. I'm going to be active on Twitter, as always. I'm going to be doing more spaces in the future. That was pretty fun how I did it yesterday and things of that nature. Couldn't be more blessed to have the opportunity to talk sports with you guys in this straight like that. And before I get out of here, let me get to these super chats. You guys, because you guys were patient. You guys paid for these, and I want to make sure I honor them. My man Trenton Wright with the $4.99 super chat says, Tone, this will make them stronger. This isn't 2023. I believe our guys will figure it out, even if our defense and Saquon need to carry us. Yo, Trenton, I couldn't agree with you more, friend. I think this team is better and stronger mentally. I believe that. Dana Scott with the $10 super chat. Thank you, Dana. I really do appreciate it. She says, speaking facts, Tone, stay on your square. Most of the media looking for anything negative to pick the Eagles apart. This team is talented and folks don't like it. All I can say is fly Eagles fly, 11-2. Dana, you nailed it. You nailed it. Thank you so much for your super chat. It means a lot. Megan Stevens. Let me make sure I take care of my girl Megan here. She's donated to the channel to make sure she gets her wrench here. Where are we? There you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Megan says, hey, Tone, so happy I finally caught your live. Love your positive energy and vibe. Megan, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the support. This is all I know. Sometimes I can be a little edgy. Sometimes I can be overly passionate. My emotions are really wrapped up in this team, and I can't hide it. And the best way I can explain that and exude that is by talking to you guys. I live for this. So thank you, Megan, for acknowledging that effort. It means a lot. Joe Benji with the $1.99 super chat. Thank you, my man. He said, Pastor Tone. Thank you, Benji. I appreciate it. Let me make sure I take care of you too. Let me make sure you get your wrench as well. Thank you. You guys are showing mad love. And last but not least, my man Shizzle Flex with the $4.99 super chat. He says, to be honest, this is either going to expose Hurts or make him better. All eyes are on him and the way the offense operates in terms of passing. We'll truly see. Hey, listen, man, Shizzle, you're not totally off. I just don't want them to overcompensate. I don't want them to overcorrect. I want them to play their brand of football, because sometimes when you force things, that's where mistakes happen and you get out of character. So I just want them to hash things out, have the conversations they need to have, get a better understanding of what the game plan is, do a better job earlier on getting their playmakers involved, and the team will be better for it. And that's pretty much how I look at it. Thank you for your donation, Shizzo. Means a lot. All right, you guys, that's pretty much our show. Thank you guys for locking in. Once again, make sure you guys smash that like button. And by the way, smash that like button. Make sure you guys are also subscribed to the channel as well. And remember, your Philadelphia Eagles are 11-2. They got the Pittsburgh Steelers this Sunday at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. It's going to be a hell of a matchup, but the Philadelphia Eagles are more than equipped, more than ready to take on the challenge. And that's my perspective on it. I've been your humble host, Tone DeShields II. And you guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game.